Hello, this is Chris over at SkyTech Enterprise Solutions, and in this video, I have compiled some information for the CompTIA Security Plus 601 exam. All right, and so we're going to go through some of these concepts in here to get you oriented with what they mean. All right, let's get into it. The first topic here we want to look at is called social engineering techniques, right? And social engineering is pretty much the use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes, right? So it's the use of deception. Someone is deceiving you, pretty much trying to trick you to get some information from you, right? And that whole manipulation process can be done in different ways, right? Especially when it comes to computers and IT. Of course, in real life, people can, sweet talk you, give you gifts, pretend they're your friend in order to get information from you that they can use against you later. But in terms of IT, we want to look at some of these items here that are specific to social engineering in IT. The first concept we want to look at here is called phishing, right? That's Phishing. And phishing is the fraudulent practice of sending emails which are purporting to be from a reputable company in order to induce individuals to reveal personal information such as passwords and credit card numbers. Prime example will be you go into your inbox, could be your Gmail, your Yahoo account, or even your company account, and you will see that there is an email sent to you that says, hey, John Doe, you won, something over at the Office Depot or the Home Depot. Click here to redeem it, right? Or you've won a cell phone, an iPhone 14 X Plus with, 3 terabytes of space. Of course, I'm exaggerating. Click here to get that information. You may click on that link. And again, the email that you get may look suspicious, but since you're in that state of euphoria because you just want something, you're really not paying attention, right? So you click on this link, it takes you to a fake site. It says put in your email address, and that could be what you're looking for. They might be phishing just for email addresses. You hit submit, and then they have your information, or they could be looking for your credit card numbers, right? In which case they might say, put your number in here, so we'll just charge you, $1 to ship it or $2 to ship your iPhone 14, et cetera, et cetera. So phishing is a very, very common form of social engineering technique. All right, the other one we want to look at is called smishing. And these are some pretty cool words, phishing and smishing. And of course, we have vishing down here, but we'll take a look at that shortly. So smishing is the fraudulent practice of sending text messages pretending to be from reputable companies in order to induce individuals to reveal personal info such as passwords or credit card numbers. And I'm going to add here or email addresses, right? And again, I am also going to drop that information here as well. Now, smishing sounds like phishing, right? So with phishing, and that's why I've highlighted this word here. With phishing, the bad guys are reaching you using email. With smishing, the bad guys are reaching you through text messages. So you're on your iPhone 6 or iPhone 8 or iPhone 10, whichever version you have, and they send you this text message that says, hey, John Doe, or hey, Jane Doe, you've won an iPhone 14s Plus XXX with, 200,000 terabytes of space, and it can fly you to the moon and back. right? And cook you breakfast and dinner. So click here and add your credit card number or your home address or your um, email address, right? So you click on that text message and you pretty much, because you're excited, you pretty much give them the information you're looking for, right? That is what smishing is. So here we want to say smishing is via text message. Okay, I'm gonna do this on the fly. And phishing is via email message. Oops. All right, the next concept we want to look at is vishing with a V. So we came from phishing, we're doing smishing, and now we did smishing, and now we're doing vishing. That's the right way to say it. All right, so vishing here is the fraudulent practice. As you see, these are the same definitions. The only things that change are the method they're using to reach you, right? So the fraudulent practice of making phone calls or leaving voice messages purporting or pretending to be from a reputable company in order to induce you, the individual, to reveal a personal information such as bank details or credit card numbers. Now, so this one here is peculiar. And the reason why I say that is because it's actually happened to me personally before, right? You go make a purchase, and then the minute you get home, someone calls and says, "Hey, I see that you bought this gadget. You bought this TV from Best Buy or Home Depot. I mean, not Home Depot, but Office Depot or what have you. And we are providing you with a warranty service, right? Now, mind you, when you made that purchase, you actually bought warranty service at the Best Buy. Okay, you bought warranty service at the Office Depot when you purchase your electronic or your furniture. But the minute you get home, someone calls you and says, "Hey, we're going to give you extended warranty." Right? Now, how does that person find out you made the purchase? That's a mystery. Somebody can figure out. But for this video, the whole point here is that vishing is when the bad guy calls you or they leave you voicemail stating that they're from a reputable company, right? And they want you to do something such as give them a credit card number so they can give you this extended warranty. Now, they might not be giving you the extended warranty. All they're looking for is your credit card number, right? So in that case, you want to call the vet, wherever you bought your electronic from and say, "Hey, did I really, I know I bought extended warranty, but these guys are calling me, asking me to pay for additional extended warranty." So you always want to verify with the vendor that you actually purchase your items from if you ever get vished. Okay, so in this case, we're going to say vishing is a form of social engineering which goes through voice messages. We call it voicemail now. So voicemail or phone calls. So I think this whole V over here is why they're calling it vishing, if you follow that trend. All right, let's move on to the next concept, spam. Spam is irrelevant or inappropriate messages sent on the internet to a large group of people, a large number of recipients. So what ends up happening is you log into your email, you're getting all kinds of health enhancement pills advertised to you. Folks are trying to sell you, feel good medicine. People are trying to sell you all kinds of junk on the internet, and you're not the only person that is receiving it, right? So the bad guy sits somewhere in the bunker or whatever and just sends out email to a ton of people, a huge number of recipients. You're just one of those recipients, right? And oh, by the way, how did the bad guy get a large number of recipients' email addresses, right? This bad guy could have done that using these methods, right? Somehow, some way, they've been able to gather a large number of email addresses either by phishing those folks successfully, smishing them successfully, or vishing them successfully. And now the next step is to spam them, right? So they'll send the same email to 100 people, 200 people, 1,000 people or more, et cetera, et cetera. And a lot of times in your email client, you can actually click on a specific email and send it to the spam folder. Sometimes it goes in there automatically, but that is spam. Irrelevant or inappropriate messages sent on the internet to a large number of recipients. Okay. There's also another technique called spam over instant messenger. So this one here, spam, is via email, right? So if you follow the trend, you have email, text, and phone calls, right? So spam is also one of the techniques, as we mentioned. This one comes through email. You can also be spammed over IM, instant messenger. So here we go, SPIM. Another acronym, which is short for spam over instant messaging. And this is a type of spam that uses IM platforms as the transport medium. Users of different public IM systems, which is instant message or messenger systems, who use public profiles are quite likely to receive unsolicited advertising messages from spammers. So a spammer is a person who spams, right? A person who sends a ton of information that is not irrelevant or inappropriate. Okay. When referring to a spam, all right, let me start over here. Users of different public IM systems who use public profiles are quite likely to receive unsolicited advertising messages from spammers when referring to spam over instant messenger. They are called spammers. All right. Okay, I'm going to put these in italics here, make it easier to locate. Listen, people who send spam are called spammers, right? So we're going to say via email from spammers. Spammer is the bad guy who spams you. If the bad guy is spamming you, which is he's sending you spam through instant messenger, like Facebook IM or Yahoo IM, then he is a spammer. So in this case, we say the bad guy is a spammer. All right, so remember these two terms here. One says spammer. Okay, we'll put that in some kind of a red color. And the other one says spammer. All right, keep those two words in mind. The next technique we want to look at is called spearfishing. And spearfishing is the fraudulent. So these are all fraudulent. These are, just bad guys, right? Committing fraud. So these, the fraudulent practice of sending emails ostensibly, I don't need this word. So the fraudulent practice of sending emails from a known or trusted sender in order to induce targeted individuals to reveal confidential information. Maybe I do need that word. Let's see here. So this one here sounds like they're sending you email, right, from a known or trusted sender. Now, all right, let me explain why this word is important. Ostensibly, meaning it looks like, but it's not. Okay, so a bad guy can send you email from a company called Best Buy. Okay, if you look at the spelling, it might be best with two T's and then buy, right? Or it could be best, right? Bests buy. Okay, so if you don't really pay attention to this, right? It's going to look like it's from Best Buy, or it could be, let's say, Home Depot, right? Or look, it could actually be from Yahoo with 2020s.com, and you may not even know, right? If they send you an email, you get it in your inbox, it might simply have a from field that says from John at yahoo.com, and you're not even paying attention to these three O's out here, and you think it's legit, right? So it's a practice where they're sending you information and they make it look legit. So ostensibly, right? It looks like it's real. It looks like it's legit. It looks like it's, and how do they trick you to think it's legit? They mimic the name of these companies, and there's a slight change somewhere. It's always never identical to the actual company's name. There's always a slight change somewhere. If it's Microsoft, it could be like that. Microsoft, right? See, this is spelled wrong, but if you really don't look at it very well, you can't tell that this is fake. So if you get an email from this company like that, it's going to be very easy to click on the link and simply go forth because look at this. If you get an email from Dell with three L's, right? You might look at it and go, "Oh, wow, yeah, that's great. I just want a laptop. They're going to send me a Dell Inspiron, 7 and whatever, Dell Inspiron 16, and I can have a brand new laptop." So spearfishing is very, 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 very common, and it's very effective because we're all living daily lives and it's very difficult to pay attention to little things sometimes. All right, the next technique we want to look at is called dumpster diving, and that is pretty much, this is obvious, right? Dumpster diving means you're diving into a dumpster. Now, what are you looking for when you dive into a dumpster? You could be looking for food scraps. You could be looking for a ring that you dropped in there, right? You could be looking for something valuable that you threw in your trash and you threw into your trash can and threw it into the dumpster later, and now you remembered you got to go retrieve it. But in the field of IT, at least in cybersecurity, dumpster diving is looking for treasure in someone else's trash. Have you seen when you watch certain movies and let's say the cops are doing an investigation and they need to find evidence? In that case, they're looking for some kind of evidence, could be paperwork or receipts or whatever, what have you, could be DNA. And to them, that is the treasure they're looking for at that moment, right? So dumpster diving is looking for treasure in someone else's trash. Now, in the world of IT, dumpster diving is a technique used to retrieve information that could be used to carry out an attack or gain access to a computer network from disposed IT paperwork, let's say here. All right, so let's say you're at work, you do a printout of server names, right? You have multiple servers that you're managing, or your supervisor sent you an email talking about, hey, you need to do something about these servers. You need to patch them. It's been so long. They're old and what have you. They're failing the audit. You go ahead and print that list of servers. You put it on your desk. You're out to lunch. You didn't put it in your cabinet. Someone walks by. The wind blows this thing over. Now it's on the ground. All right. The next person picks it up, throws it in the trash. Now, if a bad guy walks in there and dumps into that trash, right? Or they can even be outside and make sure that when the office trash is thrown into the dumpster, they can go into that dumpster and look for papers, and they can find your list of servers. Now they have your list of servers, and they can mount an attack from outside your network, or maybe from within your network. Who knows, right? Especially if they shoulder surf. Also it could be a bad guy comes into your environment. Who knows? I've heard a story where bad guys actually get interviews in certain organizations, and they'll come in early, right? They'll come in early, and so they can have access to the environment, and who knows what they can find. Shoulder surfing is a practice of spying on the user of an ATM, computer, or other electronic device in order to obtain their personal access information. Electronic device here could be your laptop. It's your login. All right, whatever your PIN number is, they could actually be looking at that as they walk past while you're not paying attention. All right. And again, I left this here because shoulder surfing encompasses other parts of life. Generally, when you're out in the world and you're entering, passwords, PIN numbers, you're certainly at the ATM, you want to make sure that you're always looking left and right to make sure folks are not looking at you. And of course, people do install card readers on certain devices, but that may be outside of your control. You can't really tell the difference, but what's in your control is to make sure that no one is looking over your shoulder while you're typing in PIN numbers and sensitive information. Okay. All right. The next thing we want to look at is tailgating. If you're a sports fan, you definitely know what tailgating is, but this is a different form of tailgating. Tailgating is pretty much gaining unauthorized entry to a secured area by closely following someone without authority, someone who has authority to enter. So, scenario that I'll bring up is you work in a government facility, everybody gets in there using a card, it's highly secure. All right. If you step out on your smoke break, okay, or you go out to lunch, you're coming back with your lunch, you're entering the building, and there's a guy behind you holding a bunch of office supplies, right? You think he's a delivery guy, and you're going to be very polite and open the door to let him in. But little did you know that this guy pre-planned the whole thing. He set it all up. He got some office supplies. He said, I'm going to hang out here. The next guy who enters the door is going to let me in because they're being polite. All right. That is called tailgating. And a lot of people fall for this. The best thing to do here is to call your manager to go get this delivery guy. And the manager will probably say, hey, I didn't order any office supplies, or we're not expecting office supplies, so we don't know who that guy is. Or they might say, yes, we know that John is, from Office Depot is supposed to, drop off some pens and papers and cartridges for our printer, right? So tailgating is also another big social engineering technique. Eliciting information. This technique is used to acquire information discreetly without other person knowing, in order to obtain it without arousing suspicion or the person realizing what you're doing. You cannot ask them directly. So this is also another form of tricking people for information. Could be through conversation, it could be through email, etc., etc. But that's another form of social engineering technique. The next one is whaling, and whaling is a strategic phishing attack. All right, guys, so let's go back to what phishing means over here. Phishing is the fraudulent practice of sending emails purporting to be from reputable companies. All right, so they're sending you email in order to induce you to send, some information to them. So whaling is another form of folks using email to get you to send them some information that they want about you. But there's a key difference here. Whaling targets high-profile executives. Okay, so if you're not a high-profile executive, you cannot be whaled. If I can use whaling as a term, as a verb. All right, so if you're not a big shot and you got scammed, you simply got fished. Okay, if you got fished and you're a big if you're a big shot at your job, then you got whaled. So we'll see here is whaling is only for the big shots. Aren't they lucky? All right. Whaling is only for the big shots. Right. Okay, so let's read the whole thing. Whaling is a strategic phishing attack targeted towards high-profile executives that is disguised or as permitted email. Of course, I mean it's established. An attacker can prod the target for information that helps them access sensitive areas of the network, passwords, or other information. Okay, so if you're a big shot, you got whaled. They got some information that only the executives, CIO, the C-suite uh, folks. If you get whaled, that means that they are getting some really good detailed information about your company, and the damage is going to be pretty serious. All right, prepending. That's another technique as well. So they're saying, for example, a prepend command could be used in a scripting language that a programmer would enter into a certain function or code module. It would add certain characters of text to the beginning of some variable or object. Other kinds of prepending are automated. For instance, in jQuery and other tools, there's the ability to automatically prepend each paragraph with a certain element. All right, not sure exactly what they're talking about here because it kind of sounds like this is it's not a social engineering attack. I'll do some more research about this to find out what this exactly is, but we'll move on to the next item, identity fraud. This is the use by one person of another person's personal information. So another person's personal info without authorization to commit a crime or to deceive or defraud that other person or a third person. Most identity fraud is committed in the context of financial advantages, such as accessing a victim's credit card, bank, or loan accounts. You know, a lot of people know what identity fraud is, right? If you have companies that will protect your identity up to a certain limit for a fee, you know, a lot of the popular banks offer that service, right? So ID fraud is simply someone stealing your ID. They could steal your driver's license, your passport, your user login, right? So they steal that information, of course, without authorization, and they use it to commit a crime. So if someone steals your email login and sends an email and, you know, pretty much, you know, says something mean to all your coworkers, that is ID fraud. All right. If they steal your credit card and pretty much go on a shopping spree, that is ID fraud right there. All right. Invoice scams. Criminals send bills for goods or services the business never ordered or received. The scam succeeds mainly because the invoices look legitimate and unsuspecting employees don't look closely to see it's not real. You know, a friend of mine was telling me about a business issue, well, a business that she works at where the accounts payable manager got into trouble because at the end of the pay period, this guy had gone over. I mean, I think the accounts were messed up. And they found out that he had purchased certain things that they never ordered now, or he had paid for things that were never ordered. Now, it's possible that this guy got scammed. You know, he was involved in an invoice scam, or he actually, you know, scam the company he's working for. But either way, if you pay a bill sent by a criminal for goods and services that you never ordered, that's on you, my friend. You need to make sure that you're not being scammed. You know, you need to verify things, okay? So invoice scams, that's very common, but you need to be careful. All right, credential harvesting, also known as password harvesting. Is the process of gathering valid usernames, passwords, private emails, and email addresses through infrastructure breaches. Of course, when a hacker breaks into your system, they're going to steal stuff, you know, and credential harvesting is a big deal. Okay. Later, they can do so many things. And that's why a lot of companies have these password reset policies which says, every 72 days, your password needs to be reset. Every 30 days, your password needs to be reset. Every 15 days, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. It's because of credential harvesting. All right. Reconnaissance is a set of processes and techniques. I italicize that. Make it bold. It's a set of processes and techniques used to covertly discover and collect information about a target system. During reconnaissance, an ethical hacker attempts to gather as much information about a target system as possible. Reconnaissance is really a cool term. It's even used in the military. It's basically, in layman terms, it's basically spying on your target, right? You drive by to see what's going on, see how they're living, right? How they're rolling over there, so you can come back and plan your mode of attack, right? So it's a set of processes and techniques used to covertly, secretly discover and collect information about a target system. During reconnaissance, an ethical hacker attempts to gather, you need to find out what these people do. How many firewalls do they have? Within the firewall, do they have, what is their IP address methodology is? Are they doing a lot of DHCP or static? What servers are they running? What kind of services do they have out there? Do they have forward-facing sites? Do they have internal intranet sites? So reconnaissance could just take on a very wide range of activities, right? There's a lot you want to do. If someone is doing reconnaissance on you, there's a lot. It can take a long time, but once they find that information, they know what to do next. They'll move on to the next mode of attack. All right, guys. So there's more to come. We'll just stop right here because I see the video just got over 30 minutes. We're trying to keep the videos short and manageable. So again, we just took a look at social engineering techniques. And again, social engineering is the use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential or personal information that may be used for fraudulent purposes, guys. So see you in the next video.